Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So have you guys seen this story that's kind of blowing up a bit on social media? I see online media publications talking about this, how you can eat a bunch of eggs every day and be quite healthy. And you're probably asking yourself, how can this be? Because we know eggs are very high in cholesterol. You'd have to eat about 3 or 4 Big Macs to get the same amount of cholesterol that you get in a single egg. And cholesterol leads to plaque in the arteries, which leads to heart disease. So how can a study come to this conclusion that eating a bunch of eggs is pretty good for you? It doesn't cause heart disease. Well, let's take a look and see what's really up. So this study was recently published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and comes to the startling conclusion that a healthy diet, including more eggs than currently recommended by some countries, may be safely consumed. Unfortunately, this free abstract online is about as much as anyone that's reporting on this story is ever going to read. But if you get into the paid full text of this study, it says right on the front page that this study was supported by a grant from the Australian Egg Corporation. And despite this paper claiming that the Australian Egg Corporation had no part in the design, analysis, or writing of this study, one of its authors does have an affiliation worth looking at, that they are an advisory member of the Egg Nutrition Council. So what is this Egg Nutrition Council? Well, they're a group that provides supposedly unbiased advice on eggs and good nutrition to the Australian Egg Corporation. So wait, I don't get this. They said the Australian Egg Corporation has nothing to do with the design, analysis, or writing of this study, yet one person who is involved with the analysis, design, and writing of the study works for the group that provides the information that the Australian Egg Corporation uses. So not only did the egg industry fund this study, they got to design their own study to find a result that they want by having their own researcher as part of the research team here. And let's look at how they actually did this, how they designed this study, because it's completely nuts. These egg industry funded researchers found the sickest subjects they could possibly find. All these subjects were either pre-diabetic or had full-blown type 2 diabetes. These subjects were quite overweight, with BMIs going up to about 34.9, which is soundly in the obese category. And over a third of the subjects were taking cholesterol-lowering medication. Yet, despite such medications, they had high levels of total cholesterol and quite high levels of LDL, bad cholesterol. So these researchers found that those who ate 2 eggs a day had the same blood test results as far as for cholesterol and other cardiovascular markers as those who ate 2 eggs a week. 2 eggs a day was the same as 2 eggs a week. So they go on to conclude that a high egg diet is completely safe for those with type 2 diabetes and is safe for the general population as far as cardiovascular risk goes. Really, eating a high egg diet is safe. Well, that's quite the stretch. It's not like eating the high egg diet or low egg diet improved any of these sick people's markers such as HDL, total cholesterol, obesity, their diabetic situation. All it really shows is that if you eat a high egg diet and you already have high cholesterol and you're eating a bunch of cholesterol in the form of eggs, your cholesterol levels may not really change all that much because you already have high cholesterol levels. And as I said, about a third of these participants in the study were already taking cholesterol-lowering medications. And reading through the study design as I did, this next move by the Australian Egg Corporation in designing the study ensured that they got the results they wanted. They asked the low egg group to eat more protein in the form of meat, chicken, fish, or legumes, but you can pretty much assume that they're reaching for the meat, given that they're all pretty much, diabetic, high cholesterol. They're not going for the plant-based option. The study's pretty much ensuring that the low egg group was getting even more cholesterol. And I'd also like to point out that this study had no control group. They could have easily had a third group of similarly obese, diabetic, high cholesterol subjects and ask them to eat absolutely no eggs during this time period and not up their protein intake, and then measure them later on for their LDL cholesterol levels, see if they lost any weight. That would have been interesting, but I don't think they would have got results that they would have liked. So yeah, that's the result you get when you have the egg industry designing and funding its own study. It gets the conclusions it wants. Well, what if there were another study that was not funded by the egg industry or any industry for that matter that looked at diabetics and looked at how eating eggs affected their risk of getting cardiovascular disease? Well, strangely, unfortunately, I met Dr. Joel Kahn at VegFest LA last weekend, and he made me aware of such a study.
What didn't make the headlines is a 9,000 patient study from Korea, 0 financial conflicts. The authors had no conflicts. There was no increased meat. It was basically an association, how many eggs per week in a diabetic, and what happened, 4 or more eggs a week in a type 2 diabetic, 3 times, 300% increase in the risk of heart attack, stroke, bypass, cardiovascular disease. That's not a blood test. That is called your chest is cracked or you're buried. Very serious difference in the implications here. But this one didn't make the headlines, even though it has so many thousands of people studied for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, a study like this doesn't get talked about in the news because it's not telling people good things about their bad habits. In this case, eating a lot of cholesterol in the form of eggs. So let me know what you think about this egg industry funded study. I mean, do you find it quite suspicious that they had the low egg group eat more meat, in essence, eat more cholesterol? And what do you think about them finding the sickest, most obese subjects already with high cholesterol to do this study on? Why couldn't they have performed this study on just regular, healthy subjects? Nothing prevented them from doing that other than they wouldn't have got the results they wanted. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Can you trust science that's funded by the egg industry that finds conclusions that supports the egg industry? Do you think there's a conflict of interest there? Anyway, let me know down below. Share this video with people who are telling you eggs are healthy because of science. Let them know what's really up. They're being misinformed by the egg industry. So hit like, and until next time, guys, no eggs. Let's keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.
Got me spinning circles, spinning round and round, spinning till I'm dizzy, falling to the ground. You've got me spinning circles, round